905 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here in for Chris Hand for the next hour. So I know the Furbies are going to be ticked off that she's not on. Pamela, I think she shanked her knee or something over the weekend. And so she's at home probably, on copious amounts of drugs and that kind of thing. So,
oh, dang, then we should have had her on for sure. That would have been fun.
I know, right? Anyway, so I'm here for the next hour. And then, Mac, you probably missed it. But coming in, I said, it's going to be, M squared for 10 to 11 because Muirphy and Mandis are going to be on. Or Mandis and Muirphy. I like Mandis and Muirphy better, to be honest with you.
It's nice. Alphabetical.
So then, Mason says, well, there's actually going to be three of you. Because Mac is also an M. Then, of course, we spent the next, ill-fated 1 minute trying to figure out, well, is that what is it? And finally, somebody figured out it is M cubed.
M cubed.
M cubed. Did you know that?
Yeah. Yes. 100%. M to the third.
By the way, if you can hang out till 10 o'clock, folks, I have a gift for Matt Muirphy. That I cannot wait to give him. And as you can tell, it's lovingly wrapped.
Yeah, wow. Love it. Good grocery bag.
In a grocery bag. I cannot wait to give Matt Muirphy his gift. I think it's going to be fun.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway, so here we are. I have some audio to play. Mac, is my audio up?
Yes, it is.
All right, listen to this. You know who that is? That's the Russians finding the alleged terrorists that shot up that concert last week. And they are this guy's on the floor, or he's on the ground. They were chasing him through the woods. And, he's screaming, of course, as you can hear. There's some people that are actually feeling sorry for these guys. Now, you know what they did to this guy? Mac, have you heard what they did to this guy?
No, I haven't.
I think I'm safe to do this now at 9:07. I did it in the 5, and I'm going to go ahead and do it now in the 7. This is the guy, or in the 9. This is the guy. They cut off his ear, and they fed it to him. They cut off his ear, and they fed it to him.
Whoa.
At least that's what they're saying.
Wow.
Is Jay back there?
I think Jay's back here, yeah.
Yes, I am here.
Hey, Jay, tell Mac what else they did. I'm going to make Jay do this.
Okay. Well, they used an 80-volt battery to hook up some electrical connections to his man parts. Yeah.
He was frothing at the mouth. And all of this is on video.
Jeez.
And, listen, here's the thing. Obviously, I don't feel sorry for any of these dirtbags because they're actually going to get their day in court, theoretically. But the people there in that concert hall, they didn't have a chance. They were trapped. But the whole electrodes to the... that's rough. Now, obviously, part of what's going on is that Vladimir Putin, he has been, quite honestly, made a fool. Because the United States, as you folks know, we warned the Russian President Vladimir Putin that there was an attack that was imminent, and he completely blew us off. And so here we are telling him there is specific information that an attack from ISIS could happen even at concerts. And he said, the U.S. is just being provocative. No, the U.S. was trying to warn Vladimir Putin that an attack was imminent. Now, the reason why this is important and how it ties back to these videos that are out there now, because earlier I played you audio of the other guy being interrogated and, they were slapping him around as well. He's got his handcuffs and the whole thing. And, it's really brutal. But here's the thing. Vladimir Putin has to save face. Because he did ignore the warnings of the United States. And as I mentioned during Nashville's morning news, bottom line on this was that Putin actually just won his, and I'm air quoting here, re-election. And within that re-election, one of his big campaign promises was to keep Russia safe. And then right after that, what happens? The U.S. warns him that an attack is imminent, yet he blows that off. Then the attack actually happens. And now how this impacts us is right now, the last thing Vladimir Putin needs is to look weak. And so that means that he could become even more bloody. The war with Ukraine could become even more bloody. He may become even more, what's the right word, brutal when it comes to Ukraine. So that is, and who knows what he'll do. You know, you're always worried that he's going to do something related to America. You never really know what's going to happen. But, you know, all morning long, we were talking about what is going on the southern border and what is coming across our southern border. And every day there's yet another news story about the horrors of what is coming across our southern border. And I played audio earlier of Christopher Wray, the FBI director, talking about what is coming across and the dangers involved. Because here's the thing, whether it is ISIS, whether it is Al-Qaeda, whether it's the Taliban, or whether it's Hamas, all of these issues, all of these groups have the opportunity to come across our southern border. And you know what's interesting? And somebody pointed this out on the Members Nutrition Super Text line when I was talking about this earlier, because this was back in October after Israel started to retaliate against Hamas for that horrific terrorist attack. And this is what Christopher Wray said at the time.
Here in the United States, our most immediate concern is that violent extremists, individuals or small groups, will draw inspiration from the events in the Middle East to carry out attacks against Americans going about their daily lives.
Yep.
That includes not just homegrown violent extremists inspired by a foreign terrorist organization, but also domestic violent extremists targeting Jewish or Muslim communities.
Right. And so I want you to think about this, because right now we obviously have terrorist organizations coming across our southern border. I believe anyway, and anybody with a lick of sense believes that as well. But when you add to that the wide open borders, the violent drug and crime cartels like MS-13 that are also coming across our southern border. So now we've got all of the previously mentioned terrorist organizations that have free reign to come across our border. That's number one. And number two, we have now, of course, the crime cartels and the drug cartels as well. So yeah, this is a very big problem. Now, one of the things that is going on our southern border, of course, is the fact that we have a lot of people that are coming across and we don't have the ability to vet them. We have no idea who they are. Now, Jason Owens is a guy who talks about the numbers, the massive numbers of folks that are coming across our southern border. That's number one. But also he talks about catch and release policies and the gotaways as well, and how that does impact our communities.
Are you concerned about that, about the potential dangerous people or potential terrorists who may be infiltrating the country because you are so focused on processing asylum seekers, families, and others who are in distress?
Absolutely. That's you ask any law enforcement officer, especially somebody that works in border security, that is what keeps us up at night. That is a national security threat. Border security is a big piece of national security. And if we don't know who is coming into our country and we don't know what their intent is, that is a threat. And they're exploiting a vulnerability that's on our border right now.
Right. You know, it is interesting, too, because watching the news this morning and kind of watching how people are reacting to this whole thing, very few people in the mainstream media will connect what happened in Russia to what could happen here and what is happening on our southern border. You do find it. I mean, that was, that was Jason Owens, Border Patrol chief, and he was talking about it. You'll find Republicans talking about it. Marco Rubio was talking about it. But you watch, Joe Scarborough and some of these folks on the networks, and they don't necessarily tie the two together. But you really can. I mean, obviously. Now, coming up at 9:45, we're going to have Bill Hagerty on the radio program. And he had a big victory over the weekend. And I'm going to play this audio for you. It did go viral, and it went viral for a reason. Why is this such a big deal? Senator Bill Hagerty was able to get the Democrats on record as saying that they're voting in favor of flying illegal aliens directly into our country. Now, this is a big deal because how many times do we hear cringe Jean-Pierre and some of these other, Alejandro Mayorkas and your average Democrat, and they'll all talk tough on the border, right? And we all know that it's a joke. Cringe Jean-Pierre, of course, she tries to blame Republicans for all of this. It is a joke. With Senator Hagerty getting the Democrats on record as saying they are voting in favor of flying illegal aliens directly into our country, it's a great moment. I said this earlier. It is a great moment for Republicans, a horrific moment for the country. But this particular audio bite from Bill Hagerty, the senator, he's going to join us at 9:45. This was viewed tens of millions of times. Listen.
Let me cut through the procedural language here. I'm bringing forward a vote on a very simple question. Do you support American taxpayer dollars being used to fly illegal immigrants from countries like Venezuela and Haiti into America to be settled in cities and towns near you? If so, then vote against me. Vote no to preserve this practice of using taxpayer dollars to charter planes that move and import thousands of illegal aliens into your states.
Yep.
Make no mistake here. President Biden has been secretly flying hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens from foreign countries into Blue City airports. Just last year alone, in 2023, it was reported that some 320,000 illegal aliens have been flown in using this method.
Yeah, his amendment to the appropriations bill, which the Senate ultimately signed and now it's on to Biden's desk, would have disallowed or prohibited funds from being used to fly these migrants or illegals directly into the country. That's all they wanted. You, as Democrats, need to agree not to use taxpayer dollars to fly folks, these illegals, into our country. And they refused to vote for it. The amendment was in response to recent news reporting that the Biden administration flew that estimated 320,000 illegal immigrants from their home nations to the U.S. in 2023. Lawmakers voted the measure down 51-47. Every single Democrat voted against the amendment, but no Republicans did. Hagerty's tweet detailing how each Democrat voted against his amendment has racked up more than 30 million views as of Sunday. I mean, I love that. By the way, also in the news, I think this happened on Friday, Cringe Jean-Pierre said that Joe Biden will not be utilizing any executive orders to control the border. Not exactly a big shock. Republican Bernie Moreno is running for Senate in Ohio, and he says that no, you simply cannot be for the middle class and for middle-class America and the working class if you're also pro-illegal immigration. Again, this is a guy running for the Senate in Ohio. This is what he had to say. This was on Fox.
You can't be for working class Americans and support illegal immigration at the level we're seeing, because that drives down wages, raises costs for Americans, raises health care costs, raises food costs, housing costs. You can't be on the side of working class Americans and allow Biden to be putting mandates in place that would drive our auto industry to the hands of China, eliminate good union paying jobs. You can't be on the side of working class Americans and close and dismantle coal mines and natural gas facilities and oil pipelines. He hurts the very people he says he helps.
He's absolutely right. By the way, Anthony is Mac calling me to the carpet because I did forget to mention one Mac Morey, the star, the actual star of the show from 9 to 12.
That's it. Anthony gets it.
Anthony gets it. You know what, Mac, just for that, tomorrow.
Oh, no. He's grabbing something.
I may bring you your own gift that I'm going to give to one Matt Muirphy coming up in the 10 o'clock hour.
What's in the bag?
It's M cubed. Mac, do you have a rap name?
Mac Money.
Mac Money, there you go.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Very good. Does Muirphy Show have a rap name yet?
I don't know. Should we give him one?
I was dubbed Sea Mudge. Curmudgeon? Sea Mudge?
Oh, I like that.
Many years ago, and it stuck.
Sea Mudge.
So when I want to, get in touch with my inner street character, I go by Sea Mudge. Jay, I need you to, moving forward, refer to me as Sea Mudge. So when I say, hey, Jay, what's coming up in the news? I need you to say,
hey, Sea Mudge.
Hey, Sea Mudge, there you go.
Yeah, we're shaking, bro.
Don't do
You
that
can
again.
you can kindly refer to me as Warm Pea.
Wait, what?
Well, there's iced tea, but then,
Oh, and he's warm.
have some warm pea.
Man, nope, not super dope. I need to find out from Mac where are all these stupid little things that you guys have me. Because Kevin, the weekend producer, dropped one on me yesterday.
Yes. Oh,
And
I love
it was like, where are all these audio bites? Because I need to delete them. What I need to do. Because you know what? I bet you there's so many of them that I bet you it's taken up like 19,000 gigabytes of memory on them.
Oh, yeah, and they're all hidden. You'll never find them.
Only you snarky, sneaky producers know where they are. I know. Where are we at? 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7. Going to a break, right?
That's
so
it.
We'll
That's the
return
music.
next on WTN.
Still waiting for the other shoe to drop in that Donald Trump New York fraud case. We'll have the latest. And a baseball superstar finds himself embroiled in a gambling scandal. We'll have details at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Pete Rose? Is it Pete Rose? By the way, people want us to repeat what Jay said his rap name would be. We won't be repeating that. You know what I'd be willing to bet? If people go to the WTN TV, they're going to rewind to make sure that, did we really hear what Jay said? Is that really what we thought we heard? Yes, you heard right. But moving right along. No, Mac, I'm not going to tell you what my gift is for Muirphy Show. Muirphy Show's coming in. If you're just tuning in, you're expecting to hear Pamela Furr. She shanked her knee this weekend, so here I am for a fifth hour today. And can I just tell you, it feels like a 10th, but I'm sure for you people, it probably feels like 20. But I've got a big gift that I'm going to give Muirphy Show right at 10 o'clock, about 10:06. I'm going to give him a big gift. The cameras are working, right?
Cameras are on. Ready
Cameras
to go.
are on. So even Murphy's, because I cannot wait to see Matt's face when I give him this gift.
The anticipation's killing me.
It's as they say, palpable.
It is.
Is it not?
Well, you teased me off the air too. You're like, "Hey man, you want me to tell you?" I was like, "Yeah. Let me know what the president is." You're like, I can't.
And then
Never
I said,
mind,
no.
I can't. I was like, "Come on, man."
Listen.
Well, I notice it is in the typical radio guy wrapping paper, however.
Yes. Yes.
You know, it's about all we can muster.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, grocery bag. Oh,
Yep.
grocery bag right here. I can't wait. Murphy, I know you're listening, and you're very excited. Oh, what's it going to be? Tune in at 10 o'clock to find out. Also, 9:45, Senator Bill Hagerty is going to join us on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, it's 9:30. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. Clouds, 58 degrees on Music Row. A complete forecast in just a couple of minutes. As Donald Trump faces a looming deadline for his $454 million bond payment in his civil case today, New York Attorney General Letitia James, she could start seizing assets, including his property, if he doesn't really secure that bond. Something ABC's John Santucci says could be devastating for the former president.
They're his babies, and that exactly hits to the heart of this. Donald Trump has 5 children. The 6th, in my mind, is the company, and it is his favorite. He brags about it. All of this is special to Trump. So for the moment, my understanding is that Team Trump is hoping the New York Court of Appeals will step in and possibly change the bond, because for the moment, it's the whole amount. It's a significant amount of money. Trump, apparently, according to his lawyers, doesn't have.
In sports news, Los Angeles Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani, he's expected to speak publicly today for the first time since he became embroiled in a major gambling scandal. His best friend and now former interpreter faces multiple investigations after telling ESPN that Ohtani gave him more than $4 million to pay off a gambling debt to a bookie who's also under federal investigation. The interpreter, Ippei Mizuhara, later walking back that claim, instead saying he took the money from Ohtani's bank account without the star's knowledge. Sam Bloom has been working the story for The Athletic.
This scandal has the potential to be one of the biggest sports scandals that we've ever seen, certainly one of the biggest baseball scandals that we've ever seen.
Well, again, Ohtani due to speak later today. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
9:38, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis in for Chris Hand, and he will be returning on Wednesday. Senator Bill Hagerty joining us here in about, 6 or 7 minutes from now. Did you guys see the video? This is so funny. The video of Kamala Harris, and she's out on, I think, Puerto Rico. And she's there on some sort of a trip. And they start playing music. And so her head's bobbing up and down. She's clapping to the music and all this kind of stuff. Here's the problem. The joke's on Kamala Harris because she had no idea that the song was basically a song protesting her presence there in Puerto Rico. And so one of her aides kind of whispers, it's like, okay, so who wants to tell her, right? So they tell her, and so then she stops clapping because she was clapping, and this has gone viral. But she's still bobbing her head. Have you noticed that Kamala Harris, she's always, like, everything she says, she's like nodding her head aggressively at what she's saying. It is one of the most annoying traits
100%.
of Kamala Harris. Is just she's a chronic head bobber. It's just like whenever she speaks, she's nodding her head. And it's annoying because 99.9% of the time what she is saying is complete and utter BS. But see, the problem is, and that was, again, just Kamala Harris, and I'm not feeling sorry for her in the least, but the woman can't catch a break. Either she's saying something stupid, she's doing something stupid, she's been given an impossible assignment by Joe Biden, and she is chronically unpopular. But yet, there are stories out there today. This is from the Washington Post. Harris steps up her role as ambassador to voters shaky on Joe Biden. Well, if you're Joe Biden and you realize that your vice president is just as, if not more unpopular than you, well, then you're in a lot of trouble. And the fact of the matter is that whether it is Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, they've got a lot of problems. And this whole Kamala to the rescue thing, oh my Lord. And every time you turn around, you see issues with Joe Biden. You see problems with Biden's polling. You see problems with Biden's ability to communicate. You see problems with his policy. And everyone knows that he is not doing well on the economy. He's not doing well on immigration. And we do have, and Senator Bill Hagerty will be joining us here in the next few minutes, where he is literally flying illegal aliens into our country. And the American people are angry. And whether you look at, and I'm gonna sort of wide swath here, but you look at the Black Americans, Hispanics, you look at all of the varying demographics, and by and large, Joe Biden has lost a lot. And there's no possible way that Kamala Harris is going to be able to rescue the president. And so the more that this goes on, the worse it's going to be for Joe Biden. It is 9:42 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, the Super Text line is open at 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. I want to play you an audio bite, and I'm going to replay this from earlier in the hour. Senator Bill Hagerty is about to join us, but I want to play this for you again because I think that there's great points that are being made by the senator from Tennessee as he has now been able to, and I think this is a great point, and I'm going to ask the senator about this, that he has now been able to get the Democrats on record as saying they are voting in favor of flying illegal aliens directly into our country. This particular video, the audio bite, you can find it on the Dan Mandis Show Twitter feed. It has been viewed at least 20 million times.
Let me cut through the procedural language here. I'm bringing forward a vote on a very simple question. Do you support American taxpayer dollars being used to fly illegal immigrants from countries like Venezuela and Haiti into America to be settled in cities and towns near you? If so, then vote against me. Vote no to preserve this practice of using taxpayer dollars to charter planes that move and import thousands of illegal aliens into your states. Make no mistake here. President Biden has been secretly flying hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens from foreign countries into Blue City airports. Just last year alone, in 2023, it was reported that some 320,000 illegal aliens have been flown in using this method.
Well, Senator, one of the things that I've been saying this morning is that this is a tremendous talking point, I guess, for the Republicans. It's a horrible moment for America, though, but you were able to get the Democrats on the record as saying this is what they want to do, use taxpayer dollars to fly illegal aliens directly into our country.
Well, Dan, you and I have been talking about this for, frankly, years now, since the Biden administration took office. The motive behind the crime at our border, of course, is to alter the allocation of congressional districts and electoral votes to put it in their favor in these blue cities and states. Now they're flying people in to do this. They're actually processing them on the ground in Nicaragua, El Salvador, Venezuela, Haiti. They're processing them. They're chartering flights and flying them directly into their destinations here in America. It's just shocking. We've uncovered this. Now we've got every Democrat in the United States Senate voting in favor of continuing this process to allow the Biden administration to use our taxpayer dollars to charter these flights to bring people in. 320,000 people just last year alone, Dan. It's shocking. I think the American public is seeing this pendulum swung so far to the left, the danger that this creates for us, the national security crisis it presents, and frankly, just the overtaxing of our resources here in America. It's unbelievable that the Biden administration is doing it. And again, the motive for all of this is the apportionment of congressional districts in their favor.
So from a political standpoint, and again, as I said, it's terrible for our country what Biden is doing and the Democrats voting to continue this process. From a political standpoint, I mean, do you see this as an opportunity, X's and O's, political playbook? Do you see this as an opportunity to, use this as a way to get more, perhaps, seats in the Senate? Use this against the Democrats?
Well, I think if the public wakes up and sees what the current Senate Democrats are in favor of doing, they should certainly say no more of this. November 2024 is right around the corner. And if I look at the Senate map right now, I think we have every reason to expect that Republicans will take control and will finally be able to push back on this ridiculous wasted expenditures. What we need to do, we need to be in a position to go in and block any funds going to these activities or any other activities that the Biden administration is undertaking to accelerate the processing of people illegally into our country. And again, the reason they're doing this is because they want to get those people into those districts that they can be counted in time for the census so they can get more congressional votes and electoral votes as a result.
Senator Bill Hagerty joining us on Super Talk 99.7. And let's talk a little bit, just remaining on the border, but in a different way. ISIS-K strikes Russia, of course. That's a horrible story, what happened at that rock concert in Russia. We've got our own issues of these kinds of individuals coming across our southern border. And so part of what I'm trying to do is let folks know that, yeah, this is a terrible story that happened in Russia. However, it is also feasible that this could happen here.
No, just ask Christopher Wray, the FBI director. We've let hundreds, they're trying to track down hundreds of people on the terrorist watch list that have been released into the country by the Biden administration. We don't know where they are. You go back to President Trump's administration, we had basically taken down ISIS-K.
Yep.
Now with Biden coming in and having that feckless retreat from Afghanistan that cost 13 American lives and embarrassed our nation, ISIS-K has now reconstituted itself. They've hit Russia. They can hit anywhere in the world. They've claimed they can hit anywhere in the world. This is a massive national security crisis, again, precipitated by Joe Biden.
So what can we do? I mean, at this point, the only thing we can do is vote Republican in November. That's obvious. And it does seem like we do have a pretty good shot at reclaiming the White House and the Senate. We'll have to see about the House of Representatives. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, Senator Bill Hagerty, that we do reclaim the Senate, the Republican Party, and we do claim the White House. How much can be done at this point to figure out exactly what the damage is going to be for the next 10, 15, 20 years because of all of this?
Well, I think you're right to be talking about it in terms of decades, Dan. The damage that this administration has done in 3 years is going to have a decades-long impact on America. What we're going to have to do is first secure the border and focus on our own national security and try to root out the criminal elements that have come in here. You know, Venezuela's crime rate has gone down.
Yeah.
Because they're sending their criminals here.
Right.
The Venezuelan gangs that are operating here, you saw those 2 Venezuelan gangsters beat up New York police officers. They get put in jail and released with no cash bail and fly to California so they can do it again. They're just operating here freely in America under Joe Biden, and it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of support of law enforcement. I took a group of sheriffs with me down to the border a few weeks ago. We've talked about this in the past, and they need our support. They are great people. They will do their jobs. But right now, people are demotivated. You've got these calls to defund the police coming from the far left. You're under-resourcing agencies. And you've got these district attorneys that have been put into these various jurisdictions that will not enforce the law. Again, no cash bail. That is a joke. As soon as you've arrested somebody and processed them, they're out and they're waving at you, saying, "Hey, you can't get us. You can't keep us off the streets." It's demoralizing to our law enforcement agency. So we're going to have a complete sea change. And I think President Trump is probably the only person capable of inspiring that. He's led before. We've got a track record of his leadership, and I think what we'll see is an incredible turn toward law and order here in America, trying to reduce the crime in our cities, trying to root out the criminal operations that are just flagrantly operating here, sending fentanyl to our kids and that type of thing. And then we're going to have to get with it on the economy. A strong America requires a strong economy. And then from a national security standpoint, we've got 2 hot wars going on right now under Joe Biden, and we've got a very challenging situation going on at the Taiwan Strait and with North Korea and down in Latin America. So it's going to take us a long time to work through all of this.
I hear that deep breath of yours. I know. I'm thinking about, I was speaking earlier, Senator, about we have folks from the terrorist watch list coming in. We also have the gangs, MS-13 and some of these other gangs as well. So whether it's radical Islamic terrorism or, violent gangs and drug cartels and this kind of thing coming across our southern border, I mean, sadly, my opinion is that America has been changed forever. And sadly, I got to wrap it up here. But Senator Bill Hagerty, I very much appreciate you joining us here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 9:51 on Super Talk 99.7. Dan in for Chris. And I did see that Muirphy Show is here.
Oh, yeah.
Did he say when he came in, Mac, did he say that I came in a little bit early because I could not wait to see what it was that Mandis brought me as a gift?
That's exactly right.
Is that what he?
No, I don't know if he was listening to you, but we'll get to show him the gift soon.
I highly doubt it at this point. Anyway, all right. 9:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, it is deadline day for Donald Trump if he's to meet the multi-million-dollar bond in his New York fraud case. And if you've got a flight out of BNA, you're going to want to hear what's going on around the airport's roadways. Those stories coming up at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, if you've got a flight out of BNA, put gas in the car. You might have to drive. That's what happened to me. I'm not bitter, though. Not at all. I just,
Oh, yeah, you're over it.
I mean, let's be honest. Who doesn't want to spend 13 hours in a car with me? That would be Amy and Riker. Amy's like, yeah, we're not going to go anywhere during spring break ever again. Full risk of being stuck in the car with me for 13 hours. To and fro, by the way. Let's see here. 0397 says, I wonder what gift Dan got Muirphy show from the Disney gift shop before disembarking from his cruise.
There it is.
There it is.
It's a great question.
I didn't go on a Disney cruise.
And Mickey ears, maybe. I don't know. I'm still thinking here.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I do have a big gift for Matt Muirphy, and I'm going to give it to him coming up next. And apparently Matt says that he's got something for me.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what it is, Matt?
Oh, yeah. We've got something big.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be great.
Suddenly I'm very worried, actually. All right. All that and a whole lot more straight ahead. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 10 a.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We've got a mostly cloudy sky, pretty darn windy, 59 degrees, a complete forecast in a couple of minutes. Today is indeed the deadline for former President Trump to pay a $464 million civil fraud penalty to the state of New York or risk having property seized. Trump is in Manhattan today on a separate legal matter. He's asking a judge to delay his criminal trial on an alleged hush money payment to a porn star. Prosecutors accuse Trump of concealing a sex scandal from voters back in 2016 by falsifying business records related to the hush payment to Stormy Daniels. As he entered the courthouse this morning, Trump criticizing the case against him.
This is a witch hunt. It's a hoax.
In Nashville, the Nashville International Airport's expansion operations begin today with some scheduled blasting. The weekday blasting will temporarily halt traffic on Donaldson Pike and the airport service road. They plan on doing this every weekday at around 1 o'clock. The Metro Nashville Police Department, they'll be stopping traffic on the affected roads, they say, for up to 5 minutes. Blasting operations will continue until the end of the year, so get used to it. The blasting, they say, will not affect flight operations. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
10:04 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is M cubed. So
Hello.
we got Matt Muirphy here.
Hi.
Mac Morey, and I'm Dan. And
Mandis.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
That's the
cube.
get the M.
That's
Yeah.
the cube.
Yes, there you go. And so here we are, the three of us. And Pamela shanked her knee over the weekend. And so now she is on copious amounts of, drugs to help her with her knee. So I'm staying an extra hour. Matt is going to do an extra hour. And actually, I'm staying for an extra 2 hours, I guess. But, between 10 and 11, it's going to be M squared, me, you, and Mac.
That's what having a team approach to this kind of thing gets you. Right?
That's exactly right.
You know what I'm saying?
A team approach.
That's right. And Pamela, we wish you the best. I actually talked to her. She said she's fine.
Okay.
She's in pain.
Does she sound loopy?
Well, she always sounds loopy, Dan.
Little drugged up?
I mean, she always sounds a little loopy, don't we all?
Of course.
Don't we all sound a little? What do you got over there, Dan? I hear a bag rattling.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
There's
we're
the
gonna-
present.
Who knew?
All right, so when his camera's on, right, Mac?
Hi.
Oh, yeah.
So when you open this deliciously wrapped present, I want you to show the.
Get my light on.
It's not going to help. He turned on. Matt turned on his beauty light.
Not everybody's afraid of the beauty light, for it will shine off of our heads.
That would be me,
Mm-hmm.
actually.
You look great. You look great on Super Talk TV. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Okay.
There's no joke behind that. I know you're looking at me.
I am. I'm waiting for it.
There's no joke behind that. I think you look great.
Okay. Very good.
I hunch.
You're a huncher?
I'm a huncher.
You know what's so funny? I used to be a huncher. I don't know if I don't know. Do I hunch, Mac? Do I still hunch?
No, I don't think so.
For me, it's like I know what I'm doing. I'm trying to surround the microphone.
Yeah.
Right. I'm getting
you're one of
on.
those guys.
it happens, when he gets
When I get
irked,
all
when
excited.
he gets frustrated.
When
Yeah.
you do the actual talk show host thing,
Yeah.
where it's like, okay, so when it's time to put the talk show host hat on,
And then here we go.
here we go.
That's not what this hour's supposed to be, right?
No,
This is
we're
the
having
break.
fun.
This is the fun hour between the seriousness of Nashville's morning news and all the stuff going on, and the seriousness of what will be the last hour of the hand show. We're gonna have fun this hour.
Sure, yes.
I've got a surprise for you at 10:30. Very excited about it. Very excited about it. Mac knows about it.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh God.
We're very excited. Oh, is this my prize? Can I open it?
You can
Yes,
open it.
let's do it.
And you gotta.
I want to save the paper.
It's a grocery bag. It's a plastic
wrapped in
grocery bag. Listen, in California, that's worth 5 cents.
But really?
Yeah.
Wow. Save those things. I watched that Seinfeld episode the other day. Save those things up and take them back.
It is the first. It is the first ever Mandis in the Morning T-shirt.
Oh,
It says Mandis in the morning, and then in big bold letters, and
Yes.
then underneath Mandis in the morning in very small letters it says, "Please clap."
Yes, that was made by a listener, my friend Samuel.
oh, that's great.
Yeah,
That's fabulous.
Please
yeah.
clap.
It's actually a
Please
nice
clap.
shirt.
That's a good shirt.
Yeah,
Oh, that's suitable for wearing. That's great.
is it now? Well, I'm actually wearing mine.
Oh, look at there.
There you go.
Oh, so I'll go during the break. I'll go run, put mine on. We'll be twinsies.
That we could do. I was very excited that he made those for me.
You don't want us to be twinsies?
Nope.
I got you a prize too.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And I'll find that out at 10:30.
So no. This is different.
Oh,
So
all right.
this is your. I had a listener. Look at this. This is for Dan. This is Dan's present. This is for you. I actually found this over the weekend, and I thought about giving it to you because it used to be in my office when way back in the day someone made the mistake of making me a program director.
Yeah.
And this was a listener gave me this and called it my Muirphy monkey, and said that anytime you get angry or frustrated, just take it out on your Muirphy monkey. So I'm giving it to you. It's now I'm now naming it the Mandis monkey.
The Mandis monkey.
And there you go. There's your little monkey.
Okay.
Look at there.
You
And you
must
can
not,
put that.
You must not have had a lot of stress in your last job because this Muirphy monkey, Mandis monkey, is in amazingly good shape.
No. I decided I liked the monkey better than the people I worked with, so I still beat up on them. Save the monkey.
But you preserved the monkey.
I think it was given to me to make some sort of beat the monkey joke, which I'm not going to make today on the radio. But I think that was the premise behind that. But anyway,
Beat the monkey.
That's
Okay.
for you.
Very good. Thank you. By the way, people are no doubt going to be asked, oh, you know what? 9707. Hey, look, uniforms for the pickleball team.
We need to. So we completely failed, and I think failure all around.
and I understand that my knee screwed up on me, and you've blamed that for the entire time. Every time somebody asks you, hey, why did you and Muirphy not play pickleball? Murphy's knee. Murphy had knee surgery.
Well, wait a minute. You got to realize,
had his leg amputated.
No. Hold on. You got to realize, though.
Murphy's still on crutches, hobbling.
Murphy sadly is dead. I don't know if you know that or not.
You got to realize, though, that when I say that Matt was having knee problems, I do air quotes.
Oh, do you now?
Because he was clearly afraid to take me on in pickleball because you didn't want to be beaten by a bald old man.
That's what it was. I remember being on the court with Dan Mandis, and we almost got whooped by 2 old women.
Yeah, that was not a good look for us.
I had to look the man in the eyes, and I had to shake him, and verbally and mentally. Mandis, we're about to be beaten by 2 old ladies. And then I got him into ship shape, and I think we proceeded to get beaten by 2 old ladies.
We did.
I think that's
we actually
exactly
did.
what happened.
We got beaten by 2 old ladies.
They were
that
good,
was great.
man. That woman was.
They were.
That was an illegal serve, is what she. I found out later. She was serving.
She was overhand.
Okay,
She's not supposed to overhand.
Can't do that.
Okay. Do you want to talk about in some detail that pickleball game?
I stayed much later than you did.
The highlight was Matt arguing with the old lady about the serve.
It was an overhand serve.
It's like he started arguing with the old lady about the serve and whether or not it was a legal serve. I'm like, Matt, oh my God.
I think that's over your waist. But you don't understand. This woman was whipping him.
Serena Williams.
I mean, yeah,
I think the problem is
she's got action on it.
I think the problem is you couldn't return the serve, and so you got upset because she was illegally serving.
While I might agree with your assessment about my abilities to return the serve, I seem to remember another guy that couldn't return the serve either, standing there on the court.
Yeah,
and it's because she was whipping.
She was. That thing. I mean, it's like a curveball, but hit by a pickleball.
By a pickleball.
So what'd you say? You said, "Yo, lady, come on." That's over the hip. Or were you nicer about it?
I just mentioned it, and she gave me some back, and then it was on. I mean, I just said, I think that's a little over the way.
I want you to think about Matt Muirphy arguing with a 90-year-old woman.
I'll take you down.
And your face, I love you. Your face got a little red.
Well, I'll sweep the leg if I need to. I mean, I'm
exactly
like ridiculously competitive, and I have nothing to back it up. But yes, I think we should do a charity, and we have an organization that's near and dear to our hearts that has agreed to help us with this, right? So the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project has agreed that if we'll put together some sort of pickleball something together in Mount Juliet, that we could perhaps raise some money for that great organization. So I think we should try to do that in the maybe late spring, early summer, late summer next year sometime.
How
I don't know.
do you do that, though? Because part of it please elaborate on the extent of old lady in this instance. How old was she?
Probably. Sincerely, I'm thinking mid-60s, maybe 70.
Okay. Yeah, she may have been about 70.
Okay.
We can't seem to figure out, though, what we should do for the pickleball thing. See, my original concept was WTN have a pickleball team. So
right.
you and I,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about hand. Do they do pickleball
Well,
in Canada?
this is really where it died, because you guys were scared of Hand and I as a team. That's really where this all.
That is absolutely not the case.
That is incorrect.
Oh, the agility would be off the charts.
That is incorrect. And by the way, I don't. Do I have to take Dan?
That's like me.
Would you rather have Bell?
No. Well, I'd rather. No, I don't want to say.
Say it. Say it. You would rather have Bell than me on the pickleball.
No, Bell wouldn't do it. And then I thought, well, I'd rather just be there by myself.
Wow.
No, it's not true. I'd rather have you there.
When you were in school and they did kickball up against the fence, remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Were you the last one picked like I was?
I was not
You
the
were
last
not.
one picked.
Okay.
I was. I would always talk my way out of those games, and I was always macking with the girls.
Macking?
Yeah, Kelly Tanner, Jessica Jordan. Macking with the girls.
Macking, yeah.
Is that like kissing?
You doing some?
Wait,
smack?
I don't know. I've never heard of macking.
I'm making with the girl. I'm.
Yeah, you're flirting.
Flirting.
Yeah,
flirting.
You're macking
with the girl.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, Mac knows how to
there
mac.
you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh
well,
yeah.
All right. I see.
I went with Tina Adams for 4 weeks in the 5th grade one time and never spoke to her.
Nice.
She was in a different class, and I sent her a note, and I said, will you go with me? Yes, no, or maybe so.
Go where?
And go. Like, go with me. Will you go out? Will you be my girlfriend?
Yeah,
will you go
going
steady?
Going steady.
Yeah, courting, Dan. Yeah, we'll get as old school as we can.
Where did you grow up again?
Courting. I asked her father for an opportunity to visit her home, where we sat on the front porch and spoke about matters of the day.
It makes sense that Dan doesn't know macking, though. I mean, right?
Well, you guys grew up in different parts of the country. I grew up in L.A., which is like a completely different animal.
What do they call it
in L.A.?
In L.A., what did they call it when you were growing up? When you were trying to make with a girl, do they call it just flirting?
I guess you know what the problem is? I never really flirted.
Yeah.
Unless they were my cousins. Then that was a whole different conversation. Did you hear that story the other day?
The way you just said it, it makes it sound like you specifically were angling for your cousin.
Yes, you're more Southern than you realize.
Before I knew that they were my cousins, yeah. They were out in the pool. They were wearing bikinis.
Oh, man, that girl's really hot. Is she my cousin? Oh, well, then she's not for me.
No, that's actually
Find me a cousin. And that's what
That was a whole second cousin, third cousin story.
Oh, no, there was a big scandal at the family reunion when I was 14, 15.
What happened? You were macking with your cousin?
I was macking with my cousin.
Okay.
And we ended up in the barn. It was on this big piece of farm property. And we were in the barn, and we were smooching.
No.
Yeah.
And was
Angie Owens.
Wow.
And was that first or second cousin?
She was I think she was my second cousin because my grandfather was she was my second cousin. But I'd never met her, and she was 15, and we were getting together for this huge family reunion that had not happened.
You knew that she was a cousin?
Oh, I knew she was my cousin, yes.
And she knew that you were her cousin?
Mm-hmm. I also knew she was very hot.
Yeah, I guess, at the end of the day, that courts everything, doesn't it?
I mean, in my defense, not that I went through all of this, I was not planning on procreating with her, right? I wasn't planning on having children, which would be the problem with getting together with your first or second cousin.
Sure.
I just wanted to see if I could get my smooch on. Yeah, that's exactly it. And so Angie and I say to the family, we're going to take a walk around the pond. And we took a walk around the pond. And everybody's eating outside and having the barbecue and all of that. And then eventually we sashayed ourselves over to the barn area.
Sure.
Took a roll in the hay. Everything was great till my grandpa showed up.
Ooh.
Hey, get out of there. I mean, Pa was so cool, though. He's like, hey, get out of there.
Did he? So they didn't admonish you? Because my dad pulled me over and said, son, that's your cousin.
You know what my grandfather said to me?
What?
And I love him to this day for it. Angie went off to do her thing, and my grandpa said, I know what you're doing here, but it's really pissing your grandma off.
Oh.
And that's all he said about it. He said, I know what you're doing here. But, and I was like, yes, sir.
Yeah, enough said.
So just give me 5 more minutes. That's what you did, right?
No, I got her digits.
6536 says, is anyone else hearing a banjo?
Look, you got to do what you got to do. It's a family reunion.
Do you have that little wah, wah, wah thing, Mac, but in a banjo?
I wish.
Because that's maybe what we need to.
Yes, that's exactly right.
When we talk about Muirphy Show making it with his cousin.
No, macking. Not making it. Make it. That's
making
dirty.
Out.
That's dirty. Come on, Dan. Let's not make it dirty.
Too late.
We're macking. I was
macking it, making it. Is there a difference between macking it and making it?
Yeah.
One's what is making it? What?
Like whoopee?
Yeah.
No. This is more innocent.
Macking it is in the hope of making it.
There's macking. When you're macking on a girl, there's no real expectation that you're going to rise to the level of making it. Either through innocence or through a recognition that it's never going there.
It's just fun.
It's just fun. You're just trying to flirt.
I think you guys are doing it wrong then.
Well, I don't know that.
Because every time I've wanted to mack a girl, the ultimate goal was to make it with a girl.
I just feel like I'm not going to take relationship advice from you. And here's why.
Oh, trust me. I'll be the first one to tell you that, man.
Because I feel like you're the canary that caught the cat when it comes to you and Amy.
Oh, God. Another one of those you outkicked your coverage conversations.
Well, it only comes up so much because it's true. And it is a compliment to Amy and to you I mean, it's a compliment to you.
I'll take it as a compliment to me because I am that kind of.
I mean, you scored.
Man.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I did score.
Oh, yeah.
You were macking on her.
I was macking on her.
And you're probably making it now. So, I think that's wonderful.
We got a good new lingo here on the Members Nutrition Super Text line. This is from 9360. It's called Risen Someone Up. Do you guys know that one?
I do not.
That's the new one. Riz.
Riz?
Do you got the Riz? Are you risen?
I've got
That's what the kids are saying.
Use that in the vernacular. I mean,
she was trying to riz me up the other night.
In other words, she wanted to get together.
Yeah.
Oh.
By the way, Mama Morey is listening.
Oh,
She says,
geez.
I am listening with my
That's not good.
grandkids in the car. Keep it family friendly, please.
It's too late. It's too late.
Well, okay.
We're talking about cousins smooching.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Mama Morey. There's probably a pretty big difference between your family and my family, so you have to be more definitive as to what family friendly means. Because in my family, when I was growing up, my mother, God rest her soul, I mean I've talked about how she liked to go to nudist camps, nudist colonies, and that kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was all about that.
All right, first off, I feel blessed that I got to meet your mother.
She's awesome. She was awesome.
She was awesome.
Yeah.
And I met her at your wedding.
Yes.
And number two, I am blessed that I did not know this about the nudist camps when I met her because I would have been unable to not bring it up.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Well, thank the Lord that you didn't. But yeah, she was open about it.
I'm about to say, I feel like if you're attending nudist camps, you should not be uncomfortable if somebody brings up the fact that you get naked in public. I feel like
you can't draw the line there.
Yeah, that should be a conversation that's on the table if you're going to take off all your clothes.
Hang-ups is not something my mom was about, man. She was her to the end.
Have you ever talked to anyone that's been into nude? I mean, outside of your mother.
It's into nudist camps and nudist colonies and that
I
stuff?
had a guy on that ran one time in Alabama.
Yeah? All the cousins going together?
No, he wouldn't allow singles. Because he did not want it to be sexualized. It was fascinating, a fascinating conversation. Nudists are not necessarily about sexualization.
But some are, I'm sure.
I mean, yes, that's why he had to cut out the singles. Oh, I'll tell you all about it, Dan.
I actually want to hear this.
In this non-political hour of Super Talk 99.7 WTN, I feel like I should get us out of here.
Please.
Quick.
Please.
Okay. We'll be back.
Russia still reeling from Friday's terror attack that killed almost 140 people. And Donald Trump's assets could begin being seized today in New York. We'll have the latest on these stories at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
10:26 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, I know that everybody behind the scenes, they were taking bets on how many times I would say Nashville's Morning News between like 9 and 10:30.
There's one.
Well, but I did that. That doesn't count because I did that on purpose.
Oh, I see.
Right?
Mistakenly.
How often would
Same.
I mistake? Because the last time I had to do this, I shanked it like over and over and over again.
Did you, you've been here, what, 10 years now?
It's 10 years. Hard to believe.
That's incredible.
I kid you not.
Congratulations.
There were people that said, you'll never last a year.
Yes.
There were people that said that.
I resemble that remark. There were many people that said that about me, too.
Oh,
and
God.
looky
I thought you were saying.
Oh, no, I wasn't saying that about you.
I was listening to Mandis, you in Birmingham like years ago, and I thought even in Birmingham you sucked for Nashville.
No, you sound great.
So.
No, you sound great. So 10 years you've been here, but when you have been to a number of different stations, anytime you get into that routine, it's an unconscious thing. And I was determined not to do that when I got here. And I lasted like a month. And it's that if you think about it, if you're actively thinking about making sure you say Super Talk 99.7 WTN and not the old radio station you worked for,
yep,
you can do it, and it's no problem. It's when you start getting comfortable, and for some reason that old thing just pipes back in. I remember, and it wasn't, the weird thing was, it wasn't my radio station in Birmingham. It was the radio station I worked at in Montgomery, Alabama.
Wow.
Like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That came out on Super Talk 99, and it was just odd.
A couple of years ago, and I said to my wife, I said, I think I'm having brain issues because I literally 8 years after my last show on KOA in Denver, somehow I went to a caller and I said, Joe, thanks for calling KOA. And I was like, where the heck did that come from? And it was so weird. And I didn't know where, because I haven't thought about that station. I haven't thought about being on in Denver in years. And it just slipped out. It was very bizarre.
Quick vote, everybody. Jay, brain issues for Dan? Yes? No?
No, he's just a normal radio guy.
Okay, there's a suck up. Mac Morey, brain issues for Dan? Okay. Mac Morey goes yes. I'm going to go with Jay Harper. I think Jay Harper split the baby quite well.
Yeah?
Every radio host has some sort of something going on.
Have you ever thought about what a human ear tastes like?
I have not.
So part of the news today is...
I feel like it'd be chewy.
No, because think about the cartilage.
That's what I'm saying.
So like you're eating like
you eat chicken on the bone.
Yeah.
You get that little piece of
grizzly.
Yeah, grizzle. Yeah.
You've heard the story about the Russian troops. They caught the guys who shot up the concert, and one of the things that they did, the terrorist attack, and so they found these ISIS guys. They cut off one of the guy's ears and fed it to him. He had to eat his own ear.
Huh. They decided not to go with any other parts?
Yeah, they're body parts that could have been worse.
Well, they did. They
but as far as making him ingest them,
Yeah. Well, Jay, what else did they do, Jay? You want to go ahead and
yes,
go down that
I know
road
you're
again?
rather squeamish. You're rather squeamish about bringing
By the way,
this up.
This is the subject that got brought up besides nudist camps. I just want to. I was going for nudist camps. Dan decided.
By
to
the
go
way,
for
get ready to cross your legs. Go ahead,
Okay.
Jay.
All right. Reportedly, Matt, they took one of these ISIS members and hooked up an 80-volt battery to his man parts.
To his ISIS member?
Yeah. Yes, his ISIS member. And, they let him have it.
We live in a society, in a world where I am supposed to say, well, we don't condone that sort of thing, right? That we live in a civilized society where you say, well,
sort of.
We can't lower ourselves.
No, we can't.
To do the types of things that the terrorists do. At the same time, that's great.
Yeah.
That's fabulous. I know that we can't condone it.
No.
But
we can smirk and giggle. Is that okay?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Is that condoning it if we smirk and giggle?
You're talking about, and I mean this sincerely, you're talking about somebody that's subhuman. I mean that.
Oh, they are absolutely.
Anyone that would randomly and indiscriminately slaughter other human beings, then you're not a human being, and I'm not going to treat you like a human being.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They don't deserve to be treated like human beings. All right, 1031. This
got
topic.
It's got grizzly.
Grizzly, like his ear, probably.
Oh, I'm so excited about after the news.
Yes.
Jay, I can't wait until after the news.
All right, I'll be as quick as possible.
Oh, no. Get the news in there.
All right, 1031, WTN.
Yes, it is 1031, and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. Clouds, wind, 59 degrees, a complete forecast in a couple of minutes. With many in Moscow still reeling from Friday's violent terror attack at a concert hall that killed at least 137 people, U.S. officials claimed this morning that they had tried to warn the Russians of a possible targeted attack just weeks ago. Here's ABC's Martha Raddatz with more.
An eyewitness saying the men fired directly into the crowd, face to face. Another witness saying when the shooting was over, the ISIS-K gunmen hurled explosives as they fled. Within minutes, black smoke and flames pouring from the facility, trapping many inside and caving in the roof.
New York's Attorney General Letitia James, she said the state could begin seizing Donald Trump's assets as soon as today if he fails to come up with that $464 million bond. Trump's attorneys claim he just doesn't have the money.
This morning, New York Attorney General Letitia James is deciding how and when to begin collecting hundreds of millions of dollars a judge determined Donald Trump owes after holding him liable for corporate fraud. There is a sign James intends to move swiftly and aggressively. She has already filed the judgment in Westchester County in case she opts to seize Trump's golf course in Briarcliff Manor or his Seven Springs estate, in addition to buildings in Manhattan that bear Trump's name and properties out of state.
That is the latest news. Weather's on the way. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Hello.
Hello.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Is that for me?
We were doing all the cousin talk. I thought, yeah.
All right. Well, sure. No, most people, the reason I mention that is I'm sensitive because my beloved home state of Georgia gets jealous because so many people think I'm from Alabama. I'm not from Alabama, but I lived there for 21 years. Loved every moment of it. All right, so I'm taking over this portion of Super Talk 99.7 WTN and the Chris Hand Show, and I'm doing it for this purpose. By the way, Dan Mandis is here, Matt Muirphy, Mac Morey, Jay Harper's back in the newsroom. He's the only one with not an M in his name, so it's M cubed on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So, I listen to Nashville's Morning News in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how Mac Morey feels about it. I feel like during the time that I'm about to reference, Mac Morey is more focused on driving 90 miles an hour to get to work on time.
Yes.
But I listen to the gang of Four Amigos.
Sure.
And there I am every morning, Monday through Friday, sitting in my home, watching all the fun, all the frivolity, never once invited to the party. Never once. FOMO. I mean, all over me. FOMO.
Fear of missing out.
FOMO's all over me. I'm watching the show. I'm listening to the show. Everybody's laughing, having a good time.
Sure.
Johnny B's laughing.
Oh, yeah.
Ken Weaver's laughing. Sometimes Mac Morey's in there. He's
I've been
giggling.
invited.
Oh, yeah. Chris Hand's here.
Yeah. We have fun.
And so I thought maybe Dan Mandis feels the same way sometimes when he's listening to Matt Muirphy's show. And perhaps in an olive branch, I should offer him the opportunity to participate in some of the things that we do that he doesn't get a chance to participate in. I'm thinking of Friday Mac Attack, actually.
Oh,
That's right.
yeah.
Woo! We call him Cougar Chow, Dan.
I know. It's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Which is unseemly now that he's engaged, but whatever. All right, so
We'll keep it.
This is what we do. For those not familiar with the concept, on Friday afternoons about 2 o'clock, we hand the reins of the program over to Mac Morey. It's called Friday Mac Attack on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And what we do, we select a topic once a week, and then we get a draft order, and we go around the room, and we draft our top 3 in any selected topic. So, for example, a topic could be best cars of all time.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And we would draft. And once you draft, obviously, your best car of all time, the other guys can't have it. That's the way a draft works. They're on your team, and other people can't have it.
Okay.
So, Mac Morey, would you like to tell Dan Mandis what today's Friday Mac Attack on Monday topic is?
And you should be honored, Dan. This is a good one.
This is a good topic.
This is a big one.
We actually discussed not using this topic today because it was so good.
Okay.
Best TV characters of all time.
And Harper, you can get in on this if you want.
Yeah, absolutely, Jay. Please make this a 4-person draft.
Wow.
So
Man,
we're going
that's
to,
tough.
and Members Nutrition Super Text line open for your suggestions at 615-737-9986. Best television characters of all time. Man, oh man. There's so many different ways to go here.
So how does this work? Who
So
goes
the first thing we have to do is get the draft order.
Yep,
Okay.
that's first.
I don't. If Jay's participating, I don't know how we do this with 4, but this is the way we normally do the draft order. Dan, you're gonna like behind your hand. You're gonna put up 1 or 2. It's up to you. You can do either 1 or 2.
All right.
And then I'm gonna tell everybody to shoot, and we shoot. 1, 2, 3, shoot. Okay,
Oh, wow.
So you're number 1.
Let's
all right,
go.
So Mac Morey's number 1.
Okay.
Because he was the only odd man.
Okay.
All right. So now
right.
the 3 of us have to do it. Jay Harper, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Oh, Jay's got a 2, so Murphy's
I'm number
second pick.
2. I'm second pick. And now, Jay, pick between number 1 or number 2 for me. All right. So, Dan, I'm sad to say you're last.
Okay.
All right. So the draft order is now set. It's Mac Morey, Matt Muirphy, Jay Harper, and Dan Mandis.
Yes.
All right.
Dan, do you have any idea what just happened?
No, not really.
Yeah, me
I'm
either.
just going with it.
Yeah, I'm just rolling with it. Yeah.
It's not really good for the auditory medium either, but we keep it.
We feel like it's fair.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, it's a fair way to pick a draft order, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So you got any flow music? You looking for the? Oh, you do. We always like to have a little music.
Yeah, a little
behind
music under
in this
flow
segment.
Keep it
music,
lively.
sure.
Yeah,
flow music. Keep things
Absolutely.
going.
All
All right. For the first selection in the 2024 Mac Attack TV characters of all time draft, Mac Morey picks.
Give me Michael Scott from The Office.
That's a good one.
I mean,
Michael
it's hard
Scott
to beat
from
him.
The Office. That's
so
solid.
good. Couldn't do what he does today. But man, in its time,
Yeah.
What a great
In it-
show.
in
What a
it-
great character.
In its time. I'm about to explain to you what that means.
Well, yeah.
In its time.
10 years has changed a lot.
Yeah, it's a long time.
But he
right?
only did that for a couple of years, right?
Oh,
Michael
no,
Scott?
that
How long?
show ran.
It was, you know.
He was on for
there.
7 seasons, 8 seasons.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah, and then he went off. Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
You know, I probably should hold on to this because I don't think it's going to be taken in the first. You know what? I don't think it's going to be taken in the first round, but I'm going to do it anyway
Love
because
it.
I do believe that this is the greatest television character of all time, and that is Barney Fife in the Andy Griffith Show. I think Barney Fife is the greatest television character of all time, and I know that's lost on younger listeners. Go back and watch some of the Andy Griffith Show. The only person that the only person married in the Andy Griffith Show. Do you know anything about the Andy Griffith Show?
Yeah.
Can you think of there's only one person, one regular character that was married.
In the show?
In the show. No, as a character. Regular character.
Actually, you're right, because Aunt Bee was single.
Right. Andy.
You had Andy Griffith was single.
Obviously.
Barney Fife married for a little bit at some point, right?
No, just Thelma Lou. He was just dating.
Okay,
Thelma.
yeah.
The only recurring character married is Otis, the town drunk.
That is correct.
That's why he was drunk. He was married.
Says a lot. All right, Jay, your selection?
I'm totally kidding.
My selection. Let's see.
From Television City in Hollywood.
Oh, he brought audio.
That's
a great one.
I've got to go with Archie Bunker.
Archie Bunker.
Of course, Edith, man, she's a close second.
Okay.
Meathead.
Sure.
No, I was telling you, it's your turn to pick.
Oh. That's good. That's good, actually. I got to go with Jerry Seinfeld.
That's a good one.
It's a great one.
It's a great one.
Great one.
It's a great pick.
He was relatable.
It's a great pick.
Yeah.
Some of the general managers feel like you might have selected the wrong character from that show, but we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
That's very debatable. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll see.
My scouting room thought about it a little differently, Dan, but that's okay.
That's okay. It can be wrong.
All right, that's good.
I'm going to go, and I don't know. Murphy, I'm pretty positive you have not watched this show, so I don't think you'll be drafting this character. But I have to. It's like you did in the first round. He may be there later, but this is just so close to me. I think it's my favorite show of all time. I think it's the best TV show of all time. Give me Walter White, Breaking Bad.
Oh, damn.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good
God,
one.
that's good.
Heisenberg.
And I've not seen it, and so I wasn't on it.
Yeah.
I'm
That's a
the
good one, though.
danger.
Yeah. I know
it's a great
my
one.
son would agree with you. He thinks it's the greatest show of all time.
Man, it's good.
And I've never really seen it.
I'm going to wait to go off the board. I'm just going to go ahead and pick this one because this is almost kind of a thumb in the eye of General Manager Mandis over there. I'm going to go ahead and say that the character that I would have selected from Seinfeld would have been George Costanza, but I'm going to go ahead and select Larry David. Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yep. Absolutely on my board.
Whom obviously George Costanza was strongly based on.
Yeah.
But Curb Your Enthusiasm,
Yeah.
what a fabulous show if you've never seen it.
Great
Yeah,
pick.
you know what?
Great
Larry
pick.
That's good.
Larry David.
Great pick.
My
Jay?
turn?
Yep.
Jay, I believe.
Oh, no, Jake, pardon me.
Is it me again?
Yes,
now,
it
see,
is.
I'm,
It is.
I'm older than all you guys, so I keep reaching back to the past here. But I would, it's kind of a toss-up, but I'm going to go with Fred Sanford.
Oh, it's such a good pick.
Sanford and Son.
Okay,
You
I've heard
big
of it.
dummy.
You big dummy. Get 5 of these where you sneeze. No? Put it back. One of the greatest scenes in television history is Fred Sanford telling Lamont to put the bills back in the mailbox. Dad, we got all these bills. We got to figure out. Just put them back in the mailbox. What do you mean? Put them back in the mailbox. That was his solution to paying the bills. Put them back in the mailbox.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, your turn.
The Fonz.
That's a good one.
Oh,
The
nice.
Fonz.
Fonzie,
Nice.
come on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fonzie was so good and such a central character to Happy Days that they ruined him.
Here's the thing about Larry David. Can we go back to Larry David?
Yeah.
I love that show. I've seen very few episodes. But isn't he kind of just playing himself?
Well, people around him say that he is and he isn't. That this is the Larry David that would exist if he was on a television show. In other words, he thinks these things, he thinks about these things, but he never would be that guy in public, is what people say.
Okay.
Is that he's not playing himself, he's playing the self that he would be if he were on a TV show. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's totally it. Yep.
Have you seen the Trump hat episode?
Oh, that's
No.
such a good.
Trump hat episode.
It was such a brilliant way to handle the politics of the
I'm
day.
going to have to
Yeah, you would
find
love that, Dan. You would like that one.
Larry David realizes, so he's not necessarily a Trump supporter, but he realizes that if he's he just wants people to leave him alone.
Yeah.
And he sees an encounter in a restaurant where somebody's wearing a Trump hat and everyone leaves that person alone. So he goes and buys a Trump hat so everyone will leave him alone. And it works.
Oh, that is awesome.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
All right.
Mac Morey, selection number 3. Your final selection in the 2024 special edition Friday Mac Attack on Monday draft. Greatest television characters of all time.
And Murphy, we've done a few of these, and a few of them we go, man, we could have done 10 rounds. And this is one of those drafts, right? We could just do this all day.
Yeah.
So this is tough for my last pick. And I'm thinking about my first overall pick, Michael Scott. You brought up, the fact that maybe Seinfeld wasn't the pick. Maybe Michael Scott wasn't the pick. Is Dwight Schrute still on the board? Should I pick Dwight? I'm not going to do that. I can't go 2 from The Office.
But I go 2 from The Office?
I can't do that. No, I can't do that. And there's another character, but I haven't seen the show, but I've seen enough to know that it is an amazing character in TV. He'll probably be picked in this round if I had to imagine, but I'm going to go with one of my favorite shows, another, on the maybe Mount Rushmore, Game of Thrones. Give me Tyrion Lannister.
Okay. Okay.
Peter Dinklage.
I would.
You know what?
I mean, I guess that's television. Yeah, it is. Okay.
I think that's a great pick.
Thank
Matt.
you.
HBO.
You've seen it. Yes. Okay, good.
Oh,
good,
absolutely.
Good. Tyrion's so good.
Yeah. Network TV, but that's okay. That's fine.
Come on. It's Bell.
Is this Peter Dinklage?
Yes, this is Peter Dinklage.
This is his character?
Yes.
He's a great actor.
Fantastic.
Really? Would you say that if he weren't a dwarf?
Yes, I
Stop
would.
that. Yes, you should watch this. You should
would
watch
you say
this.
that if he weren't a dwarf?
He has overcome his shortcomings.
He's not the only one.
He's a little person. You've got to be.
I think he is legit, Jay Harper, a dwarf. I think it is perfectly acceptable for me to call him a dwarf. I think he is a dwarf.
Well, I don't debate that.
And yes, I'm saying dwarf.
Dwarf.
Sword. He is a dwarf with a sword in Game of Thrones. Is it my turn?
I believe it is.
Please.
I want to go off the board. I'm going to go a little crazy on you, but I think it's a good one. I'm going Bugs Bunny.
Oh, my God.
Whoa.
I'm going Bugs Bunny as one of the greatest. He was the first cross-dresser.
Yes. He cross-dressed?
Yes, a lot.
I didn't know.
An odd amount.
It was
for
like
a
he was
cartoon.
doing drag, yeah.
He was doing drag. I mean, no, if Bugs Bunny came out today, Chris Hand would hate Bugs Bunny.
All right, very good.
Jay?
And he threw a mean curveball, too.
He did.
All right, so my turn again?
Yeah,
it is.
All right, I'm going to go modern here, a little more modern anyway. I'm going to go with Dexter.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
That's
a great one.
From that Showtime series.
Mm-hmm.
That was creepy as hell. And
how do you make a serial killer the hero?
Yeah.
Or the protagonist, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a good way.
You end up rooting for the bad guy.
Yeah, everybody deserved it pretty much in one respect,
Dan, every other person has selected all of their picks. So the history of television is at your feet for your final selection for the greatest television characters of all time. I'm not saying there's a lot of pressure on this pick,
but 3661 just threw a wrench in mine.
Why?
So I was going to go Alan Alda with MASH.
Yeah.
But then 3661 throws down Robin Williams as Mork. I will never really?
Mm-mm.
You're a communist. I remember.
I never cared for Robin Williams.
Huh?
I never cared for Robin Williams comedy.
Really?
Whoa. It's just like Chris Hand, I'm not a fan of Statue of Liberty type.
I thought it was frenetic, and I just didn't think it was.
Well, his serious roles, though,
cocaine. That was
not for everyone.
Not for everybody.
But his serious acting was
really good too.
Off the charts.
Jeez, Good Will Hunting.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's either between Alan Alda and
Robin Williams.
Well, you got to make a pick.
You got to pick, Dan.
Alan Alda.
Okay.
That's the better.
There we go.
Very good. So
Tony Soprano unpicked.
Tony Soprano went unselected. I mean, there's a lot of people that went
That's
unselected.
True.
I mean, come on. But I've never seen Sopranos either. So
I hadn't either. I've just seen enough to know that he's incredible.
You
but
see
I
The
can't
Sopranos?
No,
I didn't either.
not really.
I missed it.
By the way, 7237 is calling us out on our misogyny.
Because
Yeah,
not one female.
Well, I did.
You know what?
I threw in Edith Bunker, kind of, sort of.
That's true.
So
Half pick.
Captain Olivia Burnson on Law and Order.
Olivia
SUV,
Benson.
the
Yeah.
longest running female character in TV history.
Yeah, tell me. Well, and not one of the greatest. I mean, I at the risk of being called a misogynist, I just don't. I can't think of one that would be on my Mount Rushmore. Really,
I
just
can't. I mean, it's no offense to the ladies. It's just Halep Houlihan.
I mean, but the problem is when I think of one, like I could pick one from Friends.
Yep.
But there are three of them on Friends, so how do you distinguish between the three? So
Who was the best friend that was a female
Rachel
on Friends?
Rachel? Yeah.
Nope.
I mean, I'm just picking the hottest, honestly. For me. I mean, that's
not misogynistic. But I'm going to go with the hottest.
We all have our standards,
Best friend, go. Jay, go.
Best friend? Oh gosh. And I'm gonna go with a woman here. How about Rose Nyland on Golden Girls? That's a friend, not from the show friend.
I don't understand.
Not from the show friend.
I don't understand what we were doing there.
But she was a friend you could count on.
One of the original.
Aww.
Oh well,
nice.
I mean,
that's a stretch,
so to speak.
By the way, a lot of other folks. I Love Lucy, Lucille Ball, Beth Dutton,
Mary Tyler Moore,
Gidget, Carol Burnett.
Okay, we're misogynist. We apologize.
Hey, Bundy. How did we miss all of? We're misogynist.
There's a lot of them, I suppose.
Yeah.
But you know what? The super texters are misogynist too, because I'm watching the super texts. Not one person had a female until
Somebody
I mentioned
called us out.
100%. That's so true.
Yeah. So there you
Well,
go.
There you go. There's your non-political hour on Super Talk 99.7 WT, and I'll be back in just a moment. 4 full hours of mine with Chris Hand's last hour and my full 3 next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 11:02, and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We've got clouds. It's pretty windy. 59 degrees on Music Row. A full forecast in a couple of minutes. As Donald Trump faces a looming deadline for his $454 million bond payment in a civil case, New York's Attorney General Letitia James, she could start seizing his assets, including his property, if he fails to secure the bond, something ABC's John Santucci says could be rather devastating for the former president.
They're his babies, and that exactly hits to the heart of this. Donald Trump has 5 children. The 6th, in my mind, is the company, and it is his favorite. He brags about it. All of this is special to Trump. So for the moment, my understanding is that Team Trump is hoping the New York Court of Appeals will step in and possibly change the bond, because for the moment, it's the whole amount. It's a significant amount of money. Trump apparently, according to his lawyers, doesn't have.
In the world of sports, Los Angeles Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani is expected to speak publicly today for the first time since he became embroiled in a major gambling scandal. His best friend and now former interpreter faces multiple investigations after he told ESPN that Ohtani gave him more than $4 million to pay off a gambling debt to a bookie who is also under federal investigation. The interpreter, Ippei Mizuhara, later walking back that claim, instead saying he took the money from Ohtani's bank account without the star's knowledge. Sam Bloom, he's been covering the story for The Athletic.
This scandal has the potential to be one of the biggest sports scandals that we've ever seen, certainly one of the biggest baseball scandals that we've ever seen.
That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
And a good morning. It is 11:06, Super Talk 99.7 WTN, almost 11:07. My name is Matt Muirphy, filling in for Chris Hand for the final hour of his broadcast today, and we'll get on with our show at 12 noon. Chris out again tomorrow. Thank you for being with us. And we come on the air with breaking news, or at least I come on the air in earnest. We had a great hour with Dan Mandis. bridging the gap between Nashville's morning news and Matt Muirphy's show in Chris's absence. He's out of the Grand Canyon having a great time. Have you heard anything from Han? By the way, Mac Morey's behind the glass making sure that everything that comes out of our speaker sounds as good as humanly possible. Any
good
word?
morning.
Any word from your man, Chris Han?
No, I've seen him post a couple of pictures. Looks like they're having a great time.
Oh, come on. How can
it looks beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not?
Yeah,
I mean,
family, the kids. Seems like they went on a hike yesterday, so I think they're having a great time.
I bet the 1-year-old loves the hike.
Yeah, I saw Hand had this I
would love
special
the hike.
baby backpack.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, put me in the baby backpack and let
I'm
Chris
in.
Han carry me around the Grand Canyon. I'm all in. So they're out at the canyon with the family. He'll be back on Wednesday. Until then, we'll hold down the fort, and we'll hold down the fort today until high noon. So the big story that was breaking today nationally was Donald Trump and a New York court demanding an out-of-control New York Attorney General demanding that Donald Trump pay over $454 million in money and or property based on a ridiculous ruling made in a ridiculous court proceeding involving no victims, involving the state of New York against Donald J. Trump. Letitia James ran on the premise that she would, quote, get Trump. She was voted on under the premise that she would, quote, get Trump. What is the old communist saying that you show me the man and I will find you the crime? That's an old Soviet. I forget who originally said it, but many of you on the super text line will alert me to it. Show me the man and I will find you the crime. Well, Letitia James essentially ran on the premise of I see the man and I will find the crime. And the crime that they finally settled on, after all of that, I want to back this up to 100,000 feet to make sure that even those of you in Aniana understand it, okay? Donald Trump was beloved by so many of these individuals that now claim to hate him. The city of New York took Donald Trump under their wing as one of their own. Donald Trump was beloved in the entertainment community. He was the beloved crazy guy. He was the, whatever they thought of him. He's a carny barker, whatever. They loved him. They loved going on The Apprentice. All of these liberals that now claim to always have hated him. The entertainment universe loved Donald Trump because he attracted eyeballs. And yes, even the political world loved Donald Trump. And certainly the business community loved Donald Trump because he understood how to manipulate any situation to his own advantage. And he did so with great success over the years. And then he entered the world of politics. And there were many within the world of politics that once they saw him as the threat that he was, and it was way too late for some of them, they decided that he must be destroyed. Now, understand, these people laughed at Donald Trump when he talked about entering the world of politics, thinking that it would never happen. The same individuals that are out to get him, that would suggest to you that Donald Trump is now and has always been evil, those same individuals embraced him. They did business with him. They gave him awards. Donald Trump was given an award by an organization that at the same event was celebrating Jesse Jackson. They embraced the man. All stripes of liberals from all different backgrounds embraced Donald Trump until he ran as a Republican for president of the United States. And at first, his run was treated as a sideshow. Oh, here's a circus clown amusing us. He'll be out of the race in a couple of months. They laughed at him when he entered. They laughed at him when he was running. They laughed at him when he was on the debate stage. They laughed at him until such time that he began winning because he was making sense to the American people. He was a political outsider, unlike any other political outsider, with almost 100% name ID, all the money in the world to run for president of the United States, and one that would tell it like it was and would slay the sacred cows of Washington, D.C. And we liked that. And we still do. We still do. So from the moment that Donald Trump entered the arena, it was never about the man. It was about the mission and the message. And since 2015, or really about 2016, when he became the political nominee and political operatives on the left decided that they had to destroy him, they've been going after the man. And the reason they always miss, and the reason that they will miss here, no matter how they try to do it, no matter what their mechanism might be, whether it's tawdry details of past affairs, whether it's business dealings that failed, whether it's comments made years ago, whether it's recorded comments made fairly recently, whether it's speeches given and taken out of context, everything they do is to destroy the man. But the reason we support him is not about the man. It's about the mission and the message. The mission is to bring us back to a semblance of responsibility when it comes to Washington, D.C., and how they govern us. The message is that we're going to make America great again. And the way to do that is to lessen the impact that the federal government in Washington, D.C. has over our daily affairs and daily decision-making, and to make this country a sovereign nation again when it comes to our borders. Now, there's a lot underneath that basic premise. But the idea here, consistently, repeatedly, the political left attempts to slay the man. And they think if they nick him and they ding him enough, that they will accomplish the task. Or they believe that now this has risen to the level where they have to prevent the man from continuing the mission and the message. And if they can get him in orange and behind bars, they think that they will accomplish that. I don't think that they can stop the mission or the message any more than they can stop Donald Trump. But that is what is behind all of this. At its most basic and most generic, the political entities that run the office of Attorney General in the state of New York, and it's not Letitia James, has nothing to do with her so much. She's just a pit bull in the arena. She's an attack dog in the arena. The effort is to destroy the man, and by doing so, you destroy the mission and destroy the message, and that's what it's always been. Whether it's, oh my gosh, can you believe what he said to Billy Bush on tape? Or, oh my gosh, can you believe he cheated on his wife? Or, oh my gosh, can you believe that he failed in this business or that business? Or, oh my gosh, can you believe that he kept classified documents at Mar-a-Lago? Or, oh my gosh, can you believe that he was frustrated after he felt like he won the 2020 election cycle and he lost the 2020 election cycle and he said things that were frustrated, that were taken out of context in Georgia, I'm talking about, and Washington, D.C. Oh my gosh, can you believe that he created an insurrection, which never happened? All of these things are about getting the man. This is the latest effort. So for those not following this case, and I hope that you have been, I just want to reset it. It's so very important, and it doesn't take long to understand. And for some of us, and I consider myself among you because I just learned this past Friday that this was all legal in the state of New York and many other states in civil court, the way that they're trying to destroy Donald Trump in a way that he cannot repair or rebuild his business empire. That's what they're trying to do. Understand, none of this would be happening to Donald Trump if Donald Trump were not running for president of the United States. And that should tell you everything about any of these cases, whether it's New York City or Washington, D.C. or Florida. None of it would be happening if Donald Trump were not running for president. You either agree with that or you don't agree with that. Reasonable people agree with that. Tell me if I'm wrong. I'd love to hear it. You explain to me how you believe this amount of money and this amount of effort would be going into a victimless crime in New York City in civil court if Donald Trump were not running for president. Hell, just listen to what Attorney General Letitia James says. She ran on the premise of, hey, I'll get Donald Trump. You know, forget crime. Crime is rampant in New York. Crime is rampant in our subway systems. Crime. The DAs will handle that. No problem. I'll get him, and I'll get him on civil fraud. So they used these RICO statutes and this mafia-born legal premise to try to get Donald Trump. The premise behind some of the laws that are in place were to stop illegal and fraudulent businesses from going on. And a lot of these illegal and fraudulent businesses that were going on under the umbrella of the New York mob. Donald Trump does not have any illegal businesses operating. Donald Trump does not have any fraudulent businesses operating. As a matter of fact, since this statute was passed in the 1950s, you can point to exactly 0.0 legitimate businesses that have been threatened with complete dismantling in the aftermath of a a civil decision. This is the first of its kind. Well, there's been a major ruling on it this morning. So, to wrap up the backstory, before I get to the decision, Donald Trump wants a jury of his peers, although he would never get a jury of his peers in New York City. We understand that. A jury verdict would have been probably the outcome would have been just as likely as this judge's verdict. But he gets a judge that makes the decision in the case. This is the same judge that determined before the case started that he believed that Donald Trump was guilty of the fraud that was being accused by the Attorney General. What was the fraud? That Donald Trump overvalued his property on his loan applications to banks. I think it's very important that we understand what's going on, which I know most of you, because you're the smartest listeners on planet Earth, you're listening to the Chris Hand Show after all. I know most of you already know this, but for those in the back, I think it's important that we go over it. Donald Trump was accused of overinflating his worth on a loan application. Any of you ever filled out a credit card application when they get to the part about how much money you make every year? Y'all fudge it, don't you? Just a little. I mean, come on. Come on. I know I do. I know I try to go and do, seven figures when, I don't pretend. I don't pretend, but I'm throwing it out there just to see what happens. Just what are they going to do? Well, apparently in the state of New York, you know what they do? They arrest you and they charge you in civil court for overinflating the value of your net worth versus the loan or the credit card that you might be applying for. So Donald Trump said, "Oh yeah, I think Mar-a-Lago is worth, I don't know, $1 billion." Now, during the course of the trial, there are no victims. Donald Trump got the loans. He paid back the loans. He paid back the loans with interest. The banks testified and said, we'd do business with Donald Trump again. We love Donald Trump. He paid us back. We made money on Donald Trump. Thank you, Donald Trump. Hey, do you think he overvalued his business? Yeah, probably, but we don't look at those numbers really anyway. We do our own homework. I mean, we're lending the guy, $500 million or $1 billion or whatever it is. We're not going to lend that money without actually doing our own due diligence. We just asked them to give us a basic parameter by which we kind of go by. But we do our own homework. No big deal. There's no victim in this case. The state of New York brought the case to bring down Trump solely because he's running for president of the United States. Now, that's my extrapolation of the situation. What they say is that this is very important for the city of New York and for the state of New York. Tell me how. How is this important? Who does this protect? If Letitia James had her own way, the Attorney General, she would destroy lives in the state of New York by dismantling the companies of Donald Trump and selling them off piecemeal. So we'll tell you what the latest is. Here's a tease. Donald Trump's not going to have to pay $454 million today. Not near that. He's got another 10 days, and it's not that amount. I'll tell you what the amount is next. It's 11:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Matt Muirphy will be getting into this story, but I'll tease you just a little bit. Good news for Donald Trump in his New York fraud case. Yeah, and a big shakeup at Boeing. That's coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you much, Jay Harper. Matt Muirphy in for Chris Hand until noon. At that point, we hand over the reins to Matt Muirphy and the Matt Muirphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Very excited to hear what Matt has to say about this entire Letitia James situation. Very excited.
It'll be great.
I'm sure he'll have. Oh, man, that guy.
That guy, man.
He's a little out of control.
He is. He needs to pull the reins.
He needs to pull back. I mean, I'm telling you, you attract more flies with honey. I tell him all the time. You attract more flies with honey than vinegar. Yet here you are spewing vinegar from noon until 3 every day. We need to, you know what? We ought to spend the last half hour of the show just ragging on
That's it. I agree. Well, only if he had an illustrious producer such as myself, that would really be the combo.
That's the truth. I mean, we can speak with impunity about how awful Bel K is because I know he doesn't listen. I mean, he doesn't listen between noon and 3.
No, he's tweeting.
Why would he listen between 11:30 and? By the way, Donald Trump's funny. Donald Trump is now saying that Mar-a-Lago, which they said Mar-a-Lago was worth $18 million. Which is ridiculous. I mean, Mar-a-Lago's worth more than $18 million. The property's worth more than $18 million. Where it is, I mean, whatever. But I don't know that it's worth 50 times what they evaluated it. He said it's worth between 50 and 100 times the $18 million, which is on brand for our man.
Very, very.
I mean, that
on
is
brand.
just. It's worth more than anything. It's huge. It's the best. It's the biggest. It's the greatest in the history of great. If you look up great, there's a picture of me, and then number 2 is Mar-a-Lago right there. Great, wonderful, incredible. Thank you.
50 to 100 times, that's what he said. So 900 million to 1.8 billion. It's not real.
I don't think. I mean, I love you, man.
No,
and I think what they're doing to you in New York is garbage. Absolute garbage.
But come on.
Well, it's like, I mean, most reasonable people, and this is the thing, is that, once again, it's what I said at the beginning, that they go after the man, and we're more concerned with the mission and the message.
Yes.
So the man stands there, I'm worth $87 billion trillion, and I've also been to Mars. And we're like, okay, I don't think you've been to Mars, but whatever, dude. Just you do you. If you can drain the swamp, if you can get us back to a semblance of reason, if you can get the border under control, whatever. I mean, that's all good. It's all fine. It's all good. $900 million gajillion dollars.
Well,
we're talking about the same. I don't want to talk about his golf game, but he also.
Oh, yes.
Can you imagine Donald Trump sitting around talking about his golf game?
Well, he just won, didn't he? He just won the.
He wins the club championship all the time. All the time.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought it? He owns the club. He wins the club championship. Imagine. But what is happening to him is obviously wrong. So Donald Trump lost the case that he was designed to. I mean, it was created that he would lose, right? I mean, the entire case, the setup of the case, Letitia James brought the case before the New York judge, whose name I cannot pronounce, so I always call him Judge Arthur Great Googly Moogly, because I don't know why I can't pronounce his. You can. You're in the news department, right? What's his last name? Jay,
you're looking at it. I'd have to look at it.
Jay, what did Judge Ingaron?
Yeah, close enough.
Ingaron?
Yeah, the good googly oogly or whatever sounds good to me.
Great. That's a callback to your Sanford and Son reference.
Exactly, yes. That was Grady.
5 of these where you sneeze. Grady. Yes, Judge Arthur Great Googly Moogly said that he agreed with the verdict, and the verdict has to be held down. So the amazing part of this is that this is all legal. And if the state of New York cared at all about its citizens, and more specifically, if it cared at all about the businesses in the state of New York, which apparently they don't, they would look into this, because this gives the government the authority to go after any business that they believe is over-evaluating their property, over-evaluating their worth, and to do so in a punitive way through a civil trial, and to get Letitia James got herself a good judge who hated Donald Trump, who was against him from the beginning, who ruled, It was not a jury verdict, although the jury verdict probably would have gone the same way. And in doing so, he immediately demanded the total amount to be forked over on bond prior to Donald Trump being able to appeal the case, which is amazingly legal in the state of New York, that they can demand the entire amount owed before you are allowed to appeal. That seems anti-American, even in civil court, but it is what's happening. More coming up after Jay Harper in the news. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is now 11:31. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. Clouds, wind, 59 degrees, a forecast in a couple of minutes. Well, former President Trump praising the appeals court ruling this morning in New York that allows him to pay a lower bond in the state civil fraud case. Instead of having to pay the full $464 million judgment, Trump now only has to pay $175 million. Trump's legal team argued obtaining a bond for the full amount was a practical impossibility. The former president reacted to the ruling as he left criminal court in Manhattan, where he's asking for a delay in the hush money trial. Trump criticized the judge who leveled the massive civil penalty and thanked the appeals court for its ruling.
So I greatly respect the decision of the appellate division, and I'll post either $175 million in cash or bonds or security or whatever is necessary very quickly within the 10 days.
Of course, this is still a developing story. Amid fallout from a high-profile safety failure on board an Alaskan Airlines flight earlier this year, Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun announced this morning that he will be stepping down at the end of the year. ABC's transportation reporter Sam Sweeney has more on the lead-up to the announcement that happened today, indicating the big staff shakeup.
We knew something was up last week when the airlines, the CEOs of the major airlines in the U.S. and around the world demanded a meeting with Boeing and its board, but did not want to include the CEO. That signaled their lack of confidence and their desire for change, because overall, these CEOs want airplanes, and Boeing is not delivering.
That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I want to try my best. CH. You ready?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. This is the Chris Hand Show. 11:37. Not a fan.
Bingo.
Based. And other vernacular that the children use these days.
Big if true.
Big if true. Huge. It is true that Donald Trump had his fine reduced today, which, I don't know what I expected out of today, but this is probably the most likely of outcomes, as we've been reporting to you and for you since the news broke a little bit earlier this morning. By the way, I'm on for Chris. For those just joining us, I'm on for Chris in the absence of Pamela. Dan and I tag teamed it this morning, and Chris will be back Wednesday. He is off with the family at the Grand Canyon for a spring break vacation. In the meantime, you on the phone, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. I give those numbers often and as quickly as possible just to keep you on your toes. We'll crank up our portion of the broadcast day coming up at 12, just after 12 o'clock. And we begin with Congressman Tim Burchett. He will join us to talk about this ridiculous omnibus spending package that happened last week, the actions of Marjorie Taylor Greene, and other matters going on in Washington, D.C. That is coming up at 12:05. So Donald Trump was guilty from the jump. The judge declared him so. Letitia James, while running for the post of Attorney General, declared that she would, quote unquote, get Trump. This is the very type of non-justice that our founding fathers fought against. And many of you are suggesting, and you are suggesting properly, that the Eighth Amendment of the Constitution of the United States ought to preclude the judge in this case from imposing this level of fine, and from the Attorney General in this case demanding it. Andy, you are wrong. I said that Dan and I tag-teamed the show. Get your mind out of the gutter, buddy. I got your full name, got your phone number. Eighth Amendment says excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. Now, while on its face you would say, well, I mean, this is a civil case, this should not apply. Well, the excessive fines in this case would be the $454 million that the state says it demands, not to go back to any victim. That's the point. There's no victim in this civil case. Normally, when the state involves itself in civil matters, there is a party that is accused and a party that is aggrieved. Matt Muirphy was over at Mac Morey's house over the weekend, and they had a poker game. And Matt Muirphy dealt from the bottom of the deck and cheated Mac Morey out of all of his money. Mac Morey feels like that he wants his money back, so he files in civil court that I have defrauded him of certain levels of cash. This is a horrible example, but it's the first one that I thought of. One way or the other, there is a party accused and a party accusing, and the state is designed to adjudicate the case. In this, there is no accusatory party except for the state itself, the same state that decided the case. Huh? You with me so far? So, when asking yourself whether or not Donald Trump did anything wrong, well, who did he do something wrong to? Well, he overvalued his worth. That's illegal. Even if I agree with you that the facts of the case are relevant, even if I agree with you that this is a matter that the state should be concerned with, the overinflation of value. One, if he's over-evaluating his property and his business empire, one would expect that he's paying taxes on same said property and business empire. So the state is actually getting more money in business taxes and other corporate taxes than it otherwise wouldn't get if he was devaluing his property. But that aside for a moment, even if I were to agree with you that the judge ruled correctly in the case, which I don't, there's zero chance this is worth $454 million. Because all of that money goes back to the state. A state, by the way, which I established last week on my show when I was discussing this with Jay St. Clair, my legal correspondent. The state of New York. Did you hear this figure, Mac? I want you to guess this figure. How much is the state of New York in debt? The state, just general obligation debt.
Let's do. Oh gosh, this is gonna be so off.
Big wag.
20 billion.
You know what a wild,
yeah,
blank guess. Yeah. Wag. 20 billion. That's a good wag. $166 billion.
Wow.
You don't think the state has a vested interest to milk Donald Trump for every dime? It all goes back to the state.
Wow.
None of this goes to any aggrieved party. There is no aggrieved party in this case. So all of that to say, today, an appellate court in the state of New York, with some sense about it, hours before the deadline to post the 464, I've been saying 454. I've seen 454, whatever, almost $500 million, $500 million in bond. They have now lowered that bond considerably. The court said that Trump post $175 million within 10 days, which I still think is an egregious amount of money, but so be it. Donald Trump, for his part, on Truth Social and in other platforms, said that he would abide by the appellate court decision and post a $175 million bond. So if Trump does post the 175 by the new deadline, it would block James in her attempt to seize his assets. What she really wanted, and this goes to show you that this woman is not out for justice, she's out for blood, and I hope she gets everything that's coming to her. I hope she gets everything that's coming to her. There are certain people that don't act like human beings, that don't act with any sense of fairness. They act out of sense of malice or vengeance, and for those people, they get what's coming to them. They get their just desserts. I believe in karma. Maybe I shouldn't, but I do. And I believe hers will be coming. Trump said on Truth Social this morning, Judge Engoron, Judge Googly Moogly, has refused to obey the decision by the appellate division relative to the statute of limitations. This is a confrontation between a judge and those that rule above him, a very bad situation in which to place New York State and the rule of law. Engoron has disrespected the appellate division and its very clear and precise ruling. He should be made to do so and at the same time release the gag order. This is the 5th time in the case he's been overturned, a record. His credibility and that of Letitia James has been shattered. We will abide by the decision of the appellate division and post either a bond, equivalent securities, or cash. This also shows how ridiculous and egregious Engoron's original decision was at $450 million. I did nothing wrong. Now we're in all caps. Donald Trump in all caps. Super Trump. I did nothing wrong and New York should never be put in a position like this again. Businesses are fleeing. Violent crime is flourishing. It's very important that this be resolved in its totality as soon as possible. And thank you. I added the and. So he will post the bond, and in simultaneous order, we see that now it has been ruled that he has to appear April 15th for another court appearance as they attempt to legally prevent him. It's called lawfare. Legally prevent him from engaging in a run for president of the United States. Matt's next up. First up, really, in Smyrna. Hey, Matt, how are you? Glad you called.
Hold on one second.
Hey, Matt. What's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm well.
Hey, can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you, yes.
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me is the question.
Okay. I'm well. I got a couple of things about
Matt, let's you and I start back from the beginning. You ready?
Hello?
Okay, Matt, starting back from the beginning. Hello.
How you doing?
I'm great.
I had the car on the Bluetooth and
oh, do you?
Middle. Okay, so I got a couple things on the Trump case.
Yeah, let's do it.
First and foremost, Donald Trump. Before this case happens, you're talking about karma. I can go through a list of 50 years of Trump behavior that would lead him up to this. Now, I don't agree with everything, but something had to give. I also understand that Al Capone didn't get charged with murder or all the people he killed, but they got him away for tax evasion. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. Now, in relationship to Trump, right, if you don't break the law, then you're not in this position.
Uh-huh.
Now, and it's that simple.
What was the violation of the law? What law did he break?
Okay, so since I'm not an attorney, right, I'm not going to sit up here, and I wasn't in the court case, but it seems like the legal process brought charges against this man, which they have a right to do.
Right. So you and I just talk. But you and me just talking, Matt. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's all good. I'm not coming after you. But you and me just talking. You said, you and I were sitting around having a beer, and you're like, well, if the man wouldn't break the law, the man wouldn't get in trouble like this. And I say, yeah, what law did he break? And you just said, I don't know.
No, it's not the point.
That's exactly what you just did, Matt.
Okay, so let me clarify. Right? Let me clarify. The lawyers brought charges against this man.
Right.
Okay, so if you can say, what law did he break?
I'm just asking if I just want to know if you know.
I will say.
I know what they charged him with. I know the answer to my own question, by the way.
Right, but the problem is, if that was the case, then you would be his lawyer, right? How come you're not? Why aren't you his lawyer to?
Well, because I never had the self-discipline to go to law school first and foremost, and probably not smart enough to go to law school. But so all right, let's. I don't want to get caught up in it. So you're feeling like, look, if the guy didn't break the law, none of this would be happening anyway. Is that kind of the?
I think that there's an old adage. What's the difference between a smart man and a wise man? Again, the smart man, if he gets into any type of trouble, he uses his intellect to get out. As a wise man wouldn't put himself in the situation to begin with.
Right. You shouldn't do business in the state of New York to begin with. I agree. Okay. So what do you make of, based on the premise of this conversation that we're having, that, hey, Donald Trump got himself into this trouble by doing what he did. What do you make of the fact that the Attorney General, Letitia James, campaigned on the idea of, I'm going to get this guy? And this is before, now, understand, when she was campaigning, she didn't have access to any of this information. She did not have access, as she does as Attorney General, to all of his financial data, financial records. But she said during the campaign that she was going to get Trump. That was her basic. What do you make of that? What I mean, does that make you feel good about it?
Well, I look at it as an auditor, right? The auditor is hired by a company, outside auditor, to go into a business to find something. They don't go there to say everything is great. The auditors go to specifically find something. That's their job. Now, with the Letitia James, there was history, and there was information that there was suspicion that they were something nefarious was going on, or just no one else would take up because they didn't want the political blowback. So it is quite fair that she says, "Hey, if you get me in, I'm gonna look at it. If he's guilty, I'm gonna get him." Now
that's not what she said.
But the point is,
whatever. I mean, what she said is, if you elect me, I'm bringing him down. If you elect me, I'm bringing him down, is what she said.
Okay, but she can say that, but she does not have the power to do that, because this is all about a vote, right? Now, he could have had a jury trial, but his lawyer said no.
No. You need to go back and look at the case.
You
need to look at why this was decided by a judge and the reasoning behind it. But one way or the other, that's fine. Go ahead.
But wait a minute though. As your attorney, you have a judge can rule or a jury can rule. You have a choice. Yes or no. That is your constitutional right.
Yeah, generally speaking, that's true.
Okay, so my point is, And by the way, let me ask you one question. If Donald Trump had all this money, wouldn't he have the best attorneys possible in the land? He would have the best. He would have the dream team, but he does not. Why is that?
I don't know. You tell me, Matt. Why doesn't he have the best attorneys? But here's the odd thing. He's going to win this case, right? He keeps winning.
Okay. He keeps losing. Let me ask you something. The biggest thing, the problem with I have all of the Donald Trump.
Wait. He keeps losing. Okay, go ahead.
Right. Is because that this did not happen right away. Do
you think the Trump case, and I have to go speedy here because we're running out of time. But do you think? But I love it. I love this. And do you think the Trump case? What do you think the Trump case in New York is about, Matt? What do you think it's really about?
I think that there's a lot to it. There's just not one. There is a lot to it.
What do you think the main point of this prosecution is?
I think
dig deep.
The main thing of this case is all about the character of a man, because to show that this is not who America needs.
Oh yeah,
any type of level.
There we go. You're right. By the way, Matt, you're right. Mm-hmm. The main point of this case is to prevent Donald Trump from being the next president of the United States. You're right. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You said the main point is to show the character of the man and to prevent him from what, Matt? Come on. You know the answer. It's okay. The answer's okay, Matt. It's all right. We had a great conversation. You have your perspective. I have my perspective. That's all good. Have a great day at work. But we know the main point. We don't have to shy away from it. It's to try to prevent him from being the next president of the United States. We will continue this. Actually, I say we. I'm done. Chris Hand and the Chris Hand Show is done. This loudmouth Matt Murphy's coming up in a moment. I don't know that I'd give him a moment of time, but if you're some sort of sadomasochist, go right ahead. Matt Murphy Show next on Super Talk 99.7. I should have done a cross with myself.
Switching seats, switching mics.
All right, we're coming back. Top of the hour next on Super Talk 99.7 WG.